Wow, now this is another one of those audio products where initially I didn't even know where to begin. Alright, let me paint the picture on how I use my audio gear in order to set the stage. I used to be a hardcore audiophile years ago, actually, make that some 30 years ago. Since then I've retired and my cash flow scenario is quite limited. I haven't lost my audio standards, not by a long shot. However, the way I satisfy my audiophile cravings nowadays is to maintain a desktop system by my desktop computer. I use a variety of DACs. These things have spoiled me to the max, along with a variety of active, self-powered, edifier speakers, those specifically being the R2000dB, the R1850dB, the R1700BT, and the 3000 Pro. Each of these speaker systems are capable of providing superb sound qualities, dependent on what you feed them with. Currently, I have the wonderful Edifier R1850S set up on either side of my 27 inches monitor. I previously had a 10 inches Velodyne woofer system set up under my desk, running longer Blue Jeans cables LC1 cables from them to the speakers. Okay, now read closely here. Many folks falsely believe that you must have a subwoofer output on your active speaker for you to attach a subwoofer. Nothing could be further from the truth. The key here is find a powered subwoofer that has both RCA inputs and outputs. What you do then is to attach RCA audio cables running from either a DAC, or an amplifier, or a receiver to the inputs of the active subwoofer. Now use another set of RCA cables connected to the outputs on the active subwoofer to your active speakers. Now on the back of these subwoofers, the kinds who have both input and output RCA terminals, there should also be a frequency adjustment knob, or a switch. You just then set the frequency to the desired crossover frequency, and what will happen then is that only those frequencies above the crossover point will be routed to your active speakers. My 15-year-old Velodyne 10 inches active subwoofer has both of these RCA terminals, in and out, along with a remote. The problem is that the Velodyne is much too large and I constantly wound up hitting it with either my leg or chair. So I had to move the Velodyne to downstairs by my theater system arrangement. So what to do for a smaller replacement? I look at countless active subwoofers from a wealth of brands on Amazon and other outlets, all to little avail. I'd say that 98% of the available active subwoofers either have just one set of RCA inputs, no outputs, or they have just one subwoofer input connector. However, I did find two smaller, both 8 inches, subwoofers that also included the output RCA connectors, and these are the Amovia Aeromotifas 8 inches P. Please read on. The Amovia subwoofer was out of stock, otherwise I would have jumped on that one. So as a matter of sheer curiosity, I ordered the Rockville shaker. When it arrived, I was pleasantly surprised to see it triple boxed, indicating that unless a truck runs over it, Rockville have ensured that the subwoofer will arrive quite safely. By the same token, I was also stunned at how light everything was, almost as if the weight was just the cardboard boxes, and not the contents. After opening the box and removing the subwoofer, I was sort of disappointed at how light it was, as if there were no guts or speakers at all in the there. There was nothing special about the enclosure and it feels like it was composed of a very thin wood material. I looked through the subwoofer port in the rear and didn't see anything special, noticing what appeared as a generic speaker as the woofer. I couldn't see the electronics. On the other hand, the rear with all of the inputs/outputs turned into a welcomed, pleasant surprise. There I witnessed far more options that you'd see on only far more expensive powered subwoofers, to include the rarely found RCA inputs and outputs. It also has a removable AC power cord. So I plugged everything in, and selected roughly an 80 to 90 Hz crossover point using the frequency adjustment knob. The Edifier R1850 dBs that I was using at the moment had a 4.5 inches woofer, so I felt that an 80 to 90 Hz crossover point would be ideal. A frustrating thing here is that the frequency adjustment knob has no indents or clicks and moves freely and easily. In addition, all the little indent markings do not have any frequencies written by them, so you're left guessing what they are. You have 150 Hz all the way to the right and 50 Hz at its lowest turnover point to the left, but in between, there is nothing marked and the small indent markers are not logical, such as expected 5 or 10 Hz increments. Click link in description for more reviews.